you're drawing flowers on it.
I see it blinking. That's good.
She's like, you look like you're taking notes. I said, no, I'm what?
As long as you look like you're taking it. Yeah.
I check mark them and then I just start drawing. Yeah, I cross it off.
I remember being in a meeting when I was a new teacher.
It's getting worse.
Very.
The meeting is called to order. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the March regular meeting of the Community High School District 94 Board of Education. Mission statement, please.
Community High School strives to promote and provide growth experiences in learning, leadership, and living.
Thank you, Rich. Board agreements, please.
Closed session meetings. Board members respect the confidentiality of privileged information and will not divulge conversations, discussions, or deliberations that take place during a closed session meeting. Board members understand that to divulge closed session information not only damages the relationship of the team, but has the potential for far-reaching consequences, which may impact future district operations.
Thank you, Lynn. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Here?
Ms. Doremus?
Present.
Ms. Munoz?
Here.
Mr. Nagel?
Present.
Mr. Sake?
Present.
Mr. Suniga?
Here.
Okay, that brings us to our Student of the Month.
West Chicago Community High School is proud to announce Miranda Busio as the Student of the Month for February 2025. Miranda Busio is a senior, is an outstanding student leader involved in numerous academic and extracurricular activities. She is a high honor roll student with a 4.771 GPA and serves as the president of the National Honor Society, as well as the secretary of the Music Honor Society. Additionally, she has earned several academic distinctions, including a Merit Award from the NHS for having 30-plus hours of service, an Academic Achievement Award, and the Wildcat Pride Award, and more. Beyond academics, Miranda is deeply involved in extracurricular activities, including choir, WeGo drama, and national academic competitions, such as Life Smarts and the Personal Finance Challenge. Through NHS, she has engaged in various volunteer efforts, including the CERT, Certified Emergency Response Team Training Program, where she assisted in practical training exercises, and the Adopt a Senior program at Monarch Landing. Miranda's leadership and dedication have not gone unnoticed by her teachers and mentors. One of her teachers shared, Miranda exemplifies every quality we strive to celebrate in our WeGo students: leadership, initiative, commitment to service, and the ability to inspire and uplift those around her. As the president of National Honor Society, she has set a new standard for excellence, and her dedication to her peers and community is nothing short of extraordinary. Outside of school, Miranda has work experience as a lifeguard, summer camp counselor, and, most recently, a customer service receptionist at the West Chicago Arts Center. Looking ahead, Miranda plans to attend a four-year college majoring in finance or accounting with a minor in advertising. Her love for music will continue in college as she plans to join a choir group. When asked about her favorite high school memories, Miranda shared, "My favorite high school memory has to be this year's homecoming Friday. I had so much fun participating in Powder Puff and soaking up my last HOCO." And I got to ask, did I say that right? HOCO?
Yes.
All right, good. I also love the 2024 Spring Choral Concert and traveling to San Diego for the Life Smarts Nationals. As advice for future Wildcats, Miranda encourages perseverance. Don't give up. Sometimes it might seem pointless, but I promise your hard work comes out full circle in the end. Please join us in congratulating Miranda Busio.
fun, Miranda. Now we've got lots of good news of the district, all coming from the Upstate 8 art exhibit, starting with drawing.
The Upstate 8 Art Exhibit is an annual art show that exhibits the work of all Upstate 8 high schools. This year, over 100 students from the Upstate 8 Conference participated in 10 categories, including drawing, painting, ceramics, sculpture/jewelry, traditional photography, digital photography, mixed media/printmaking, digital illustration, digital art/graphic design, and time arts. On Monday, March 3rd, students attended the show where they participated in 2 workshops from area artists, viewed artwork on display, and concluded with an award ceremony. The following students participated in the show and received recognition from the judges. For drawing, Kazia DePaz was a 3rd place winner. Go ahead. Digital photography, we had Vanessa Reyes was a 3rd place winner. We also had Logan Reed and Juliana Reed were recognized. For painting, Kim Noonian received an honorable mention. And in painting, was recognized as well. Susanna Correa was a 2nd place winner. Jessica Martinez Garcia was a 3rd place winner. Nicolette Velosa was also recognized. And for mixed media, we had Chester Barrera. Congratulations.
Congratulations, all of you. All right, this brings us to public participation. This is the portion of our meeting where any member of the public may address the Board of Education on any topic. We welcome your comments and will carefully listen to your concerns. We will not, however, be able to engage in a dialogue during public participation, but when appropriate, we will direct the administration to follow up. Presentations are limited to no more than 5 minutes per person with a total time limit of 30 minutes for public participation. If you are making public comment, please speak slowly so that the translator is able to keep up with you. If you wish to make personal charges or complaints against individual employees, volunteers, or students of the district, we request that you send the board your concerns in writing rather than stating those concerns during public comment. If anyone currently present wishes to make public comment and has not already done so, please fill out one of the comment forms in the back of the room and hand it to someone at the table. And we have several public comment forms. First would be Rebecca Holmes to talk about Winfield Township.
Hello, thank you all for allowing me to speak. My name is Rebecca Holmes, and I am running for Winfield Township trustee. I have 2 children in District 33. They'll soon be in District 94. I have lots of experience of volunteer work on boards. I volunteered with the PTO at my children's school, Gary, for 6 years. I spent 2 years as treasurer and ran the book fairs for all 6 of those years. I also have been a part of the West Chicago Parks Foundation for 6 years. I served 3 years as president, and I am currently serving in my 2nd year as secretary. We, in addition to keeping a scholarship fund for low-income families to use Park District facilities, also partner with other local nonprofits, such as We Go Together with Kids for Kids and the Neighborhood Food Pantry, just looking for other organizations that we can partner with to help make our community a better place. I am also a fluent Spanish speaker. I believe it's very important to embrace that aspect of our community. One of the things that I would like to change, if elected to the township, is to offer all of our information in Spanish. Currently, nothing is offered in Spanish. You can't read anything on the website in Spanish, and I think that's shameful, and we need to change that. I also look forward to other ways we can help out the school districts in the area and how we can partner with them. Thank you.
For your comments. Next up is Kirsten Yohn.
Hi there. Hi, I am Kirsten Kiki Jenna. I am also running for Winfield Township Trustee. I have also been on my daughter's school PTO at Turner Elementary for the last 6 years. I have been the fundraiser head there, have put together the book fairs, the dances, the festivals, all of those things. I have collaborated with lots of people, worked together with them really well to try to make sure that our kids have a great place to go to school, have good times, and also worked with the teachers to make sure that they have what they need. I have also been an election judge for the last 4 years. I've learned a lot about how elections are run and also how government is run, and both of those experiences have been fantastic, and I've really enjoyed both of them. My daughter is going into middle school, so I am dropping off the PTO part. I was asked to possibly consider being a trustee, and I thought about it for a couple days and thought this is a good way for me to broaden my horizons, get into the community more, and to be more involved. I would really like to have a system of tutoring so that our kids can have a place to go if they are having a hard time in their school subjects. I would like to have ACT and SAT prep. I would also like to have a place where kids can go and ask about college admissions. I would also like to have, now I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, thank you. Tech time. I would like to have high school students come and work with the seniors. They can help them figure out what's a scam, what's not a scam, if they want to learn how to make a TikTok, if they want to do a Spotify, like listen to podcasts, whatever the case may be, that they can work together and they can bridge that generational gap. We also have a loneliness epidemic right now, and that would be a great way to make a friend, to, work together and, build a better community. Again, my name is Kirsten Kiki Jenna, and I'm running for Winfield Township Trustee, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Jennifer Starspace.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Jennifer Scarpace. I am running for Winfield Township Trustee. I live in Winfield. I have a daughter who attends West Chicago High School, and I have spent my career primarily focused on education and wellness of children and adolescents. I have worked in educational, social, and community services for over 25 years. For 6 of those years, I did crisis intervention in a school for children and teens with emotional, learning, and developmental differences. For another 10 years, I was a clinician within the child and adolescent mental health services at the DuPage County Health Department, where I provided counseling and case management services and developed their first outdoor adventure therapy program. I'm a former business owner, which provided wellness programs for children's, teens, and families. And I am getting more and more and more fed up with the constant malarkey, and I can use that word because yesterday was St. Patrick's Day and I'm Irish, and it's very fitting, malarkey and threats to cut services and programs to our children and families. There is absolutely no common sense in supporting policies that attack our public education systems and reduce resources that would allow our children to succeed. I have been to Washington, D.C. twice with 2 national organizations, advocating for the passage of bills that will ensure our children's basic rights, including access to quality education, food, and housing. Unfortunately, the progress that was made is at risk. And if we want to keep our communities strong, then we need to make sure that our local officials are people who will do whatever they can to fight for our children and our families. I won't back down from this fight, and if elected, I will be ecstatic to work with this slate to access more funding sources, increase programs for our youth, grow our food pantries, to make sure all our children, all of our residents have access to quality food and continue to back our schools. Forward for all, together as one. Please vote for me, Jennifer Scarpace, anytime between now and April 1st for a township trustee. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And next would be Sid Paulson.
Thank you so much for letting me speak tonight. I'm going to start this to make sure I don't blab on too long. My name is Cynthia Sid Paulson. That's how it will look on your ballot. Look, I'm a public servant. I'm running to be Winfield Township Clerk. I'm a 41-year teaching veteran. I'm co-chair of Illinois Education Association Legislative Committee for the Retired. I'm chair of the West Suburban Retired Legislative Committee, 4-H leader, Girl Scout leader. I worked for 2.5 years on Social Security fairness, and yay, it passed. Teachers can now get the Social Security that they have paid into, spousal and survivor support. I worked for 2.5 years on the Winfield Riverwalk Committee. I met with the Safe Routes to School. Here's why that's important. I know that public servants make the best legislators. Every single person on our slate is a public servant, and we aim to do good things for this community. So what does a township do? Glad you asked. They assess the properties, they take care of the roads, and they take care of the indigent, the people who need us the most. There is currently not a senior program, not a youth program, not a food pantry, sponsored by and paid for in Winfield Township by Winfield Township, and we mean to change that. So what does the clerk do? Well, they're the paperwork person. I would answer the FOIAs, I would take care of the election petitions, I would keep the records, record the meetings, post to YouTube, and make sure that everything was posted in English and in Spanish so that someone could pull up our agenda and say, oh, that's salient to me, I'd like to come and hear about that, and would have the opportunity to come and listen to what's going on in their community. So during this time, I don't think we have the luxury of being ordinary. We need to be extraordinary. And everyone on our slate, Sean Hacker, Sheila Rutledge, Dave Brummel, Kiki Jenna, Jenny Scarpace, Rebecca Holmes, is extraordinary. We will do good things for you. Why did I come to the high school? Another great question. Because Sean Hacker, the next assessor, and myself, hopefully the next clerk, would like to set up a program in conjunction with the high school and mentor and intern people who think they want to be legislators in the assessor's and clerk's office, so that hopefully we are the last assessor and clerk that don't look like the constituents they represent. We would like to mentor kids to take over our positions. And it's important for me to mention Sean Hacker because he is running for assessor against a 30-year incumbent, so it's a tougher race. That incumbent, who doesn't post anything in Spanish, who at the last budget meeting asked for a $150,000 salary, a $24,000 increase in the smallest township in DuPage County, I think needs to be replaced by Sean. So thank you for letting me speak. I will always listen to you. If you have an idea and say, Sid, you know what we really could use in this township? Please talk to me. I'll always listen to you. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you for your comments. And our last speaker for tonight is Mark Poulterer.
Good evening. I just wanted to talk to you all. I've been here for quite a long time as a member of the community, a member of the school, and a parent of kids who go here. So I just wanted to address the board as well as Dr. Dwyer, who is not here, but hopefully he'll listen to this, and Dr. Johansson, as well as the rest of the administration. I've worked in this building for 27 years. I have volunteered here as a tutor, worked as a substitute, including when I took a long-term sub position before having a single education class under my belt. I've been a PA and even did my student teaching here 7 years after I started teaching here. It's best not to ask how that happened. I have taught in every part of this building and on every floor, except for the second floor right above us here. That's the new one. And maybe before my time is over here, I'll teach up there as well. I've even taught in the building that no longer exists that we now call the Plateau over here. When I started teaching here, we placed daily attendance cards outside of our classrooms. I didn't have a computer in my classroom. It makes me sound really old, doesn't it? I've taught students who have gotten married, and then I've taught their kids, and their kids have now graduated as well. So I've been here a long time. I remember 8 superintendents over the years. There may have been one that I don't remember because I wasn't paying attention when I was that young. And 4 different principals. I've been over more than one rocky road in this building. I've been in negotiations that were 8 hours shy of a strike. I've also seen how quickly we were able to repair those relationships with the next contract that came more quickly and more smoothly than any contract that anybody in this building remembers. Mary McCarter, as you may know, said she had never seen a contract pass before spring break. And she's been retired now for 5 years and did her whole career here. So that was exciting. So why am I here? I just wanted to stand up here and say thank you to the board. I want to say, I know your job's not easy. I also know that when things blow up, whether they're decisions that you've made or anybody else has made, you guys take the hit. I know you work tirelessly, and often it seems to go unnoticed, so I just want to tell you thank you. To Dr. Dwyer, who hopefully will listen to this, the relationship between staff and administration has changed since he started here. He is respected and appreciated. I don't think there is a student in the building who does not know who he is. And he has a vested interest in every one of our students. He's willing to drive 3 hours on a day to talk to a small group of students out at Snowball in Oregon, Illinois, and answer all of their questions, no matter how trivial those questions may seem to us. He's willing to read a chapter in a book that I gave him and then sit and talk for an hour about it. So I really appreciate him, and this place is a different place because of his leadership. And to Dr. Johansson, when I opened my classroom to any staff member to come and share a passion that they have outside of their profession, you jumped in to that opportunity. You talked to my students about scuba diving and construction, which was really cool. Last Friday when I sent you an email asking if you had time to talk, I expected a calendar invite for 2 weeks or a month out, and he had time during my 4th period to just sit and talk. So I appreciate the open door and your explanation to the answer. You gave me answers to the questions that I had that made sense to me. So I felt welcomed in your office. Thank you very much. I will definitely be back. So this is all I wanted to say. This is an amazing place to work. Please continue giving everything for the faculty and staff, but especially for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. And thank you for your service to our students. All right, that concludes public participation. That brings us to reports and information. Director of Business Services report, Dan.
Thank you. A few updates for the board this evening. I wanted to give the board a quick update on a tentative budget timeline and kind of my expectations of them preparing that budget. Overall, I see revenues increasing 3 to 4%. Obviously, mainly most of that is property taxes, which I expect to be around 4.5% increase from last year. The corporate personal property replacement tax, I do expect to decrease again back down to where it was before COVID. Evidence-based funding, I do expect us to be tier 1 still. And so that would, I do expect about a 10% increase or close to $1 million on that. Other state funding, I do expect that to decrease 3 to 5%. A lot of those categoricals, specifically transportation, I think will be prorated again. And so we will take a little bit of a hit there. And then the federal revenue, I expect to stay flat at this point in time. A lot of that obviously depends on things that happen at the White House. Overall expenses, I do expect those to increase 3 to 4%. The largest portions of that would be benefits and other tuition, outside tuition, private placement, things of that nature that I expect to increase around 6%, give or take. Salaries, I expect that to increase 3 to 5%, as well as purchase services. Supplies and materials, I think a moderate increase of 2 to 4%. Some of that is based off of our my zero-based budgeting process to make sure that we limit costs by department. And then capital assets or construction, I expect that increase of 1 to 3% for the next school year. I am happy to say that our mini buses are finally coming. It's only been 2 years or so.
What minibus?
What year are they?
Yeah, they're 2022. So those are finally coming. I'm told they're coming. So I'm hopefully that's early April, and so we'll have those 3 additional new minibuses. And then a summer construction update on the board agenda for tonight's meeting. We are asking the board to approve 2 separate contracts with Allied Facility Partners. One is for the construction management contract, and one is for the guaranteed energy savings contract. The construction management contract includes the portions of the projects that were required to be publicly bid. Under the guaranteed energy savings contract, those portions of the projects did not have to be publicly bid per Illinois School Code, but were competitively quoted, as you can see from the attached bid tabulation in tonight's bid packet. Dr. Johansson and I, we met with Doug McMahon from Allied Facility Partners last week to discuss the summer projects, specifically the timeline for this summer and stadium lighting, as well the cost of the transition apartment. After the review of the projects and the timelines, we initially thought that we would start the greenhouse over spring break, but Allied noted that they would be able to finish the project if we started later at the beginning of the school year, and that they'd still be able to finish that by the start of school. So we felt that was prudent to move that away from spring break and not disrupt any horticulture classes or anything like that. So we also discussed the stadium lighting project. Allied is still investigating various contractors to try to find best pricing. We do have one quote in hand, and so the contract actually notes the not to exceed that one quote that we do have in hand. And then also, we reviewed the specific cost of the transition apartment. Allied Facility Partners estimates that building of a regular classroom normally costs around $750,000. So this particular project has additional components that a regular classroom would not, such as 2 kitchens, its own mechanicals for heat and air, additional concrete for the front porch, and the ramp going up to the front entranceway. Extensive plumbing for the kitchen, bathrooms and laundry room, and then a metal roof, and also extensive electrical work for the kitchen, laundry room, and all the mechanicals. In addition, the space is approximately 30% larger than a regular classroom. So overall, Allied believes that the project cost aligns with industry standards. That concludes my report. Any questions?
A couple questions. On your budget, you've got some actual dollars and some percentages. It would be helpful to see what the actual dollars of some of the changes you've seen wind up being 3 to 4% of salaries versus 3 to 4 or 4 to 6% of other and tuition. Probably big difference in numbers. So it'd be good to be able to kind of go through on paper in my mind and see what everything nets out.
Yeah,
not now, but just
yeah,
you know,
of course,
in the
for
future,
sure.
you could apply percentages, because that's what you work with, and real dollars is what we see.
Yeah, of course, this was just meant to be a really broad overview.
I understand. But, I mean, you have to know what the actual dollars are when you're calculating the percentages.
Sure.
The 3 buses we ordered 2 years ago, did we pay for those, or we'll pay for them when we get them? How is the budgeting going to work there? Where is that money coming from?
So 2 years ago, it was budgeted for, and there was a purchase order that was placed, and we've brought that purchase order forward each year, and so it's budgeted in this fiscal year. Actually, if you look at the bill list for tonight, the payments are in there with the expected that we'll hold those and deliver those as once we get those buses in hand.
So what we're paying for is the purchase that was made 2 years ago then? That's not being adjusted for more increase in costs and things like that?
No.
Okay, we saved a little on inflation then, so that's a good thing.
I suppose so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Dan. Director of Human Services report, Julie.
All right, good evening. Our online staff testimonials campaign continues to highlight the diverse voices of our team and why they love working at WeGo. We've also engaged a number of highly qualified candidates at recent job fairs, with the NWPA fair seeing the highest attendance and a very robust pool of candidates. I would like to recognize FCS teacher Emily Renteria for her participation in the Illinois State University Job Fair, not only as an ISU alum, but also as an excellent representative of our district. The license hiring process is now underway, with recommendations beginning this evening and continuing over the next few months. Next, following sectioning meetings in February and a presentation of the tentative license staffing request at the March Committee of the Whole meeting, we have finalized the license staffing request for the 2025-2026 school year. The request includes a reduction of 2.0 FTE from the current year, managed through attrition and departmental transfers. No reduction in force is recommended. Changes reflect increased interest in art and business and decreased demand in world languages, science, and physical development. Additionally, we recommend the approval of 0.5 discretionary FTE to address unforeseen needs and enhance resource allocation flexibility. Dr. Dwyer and I met with all non-tenured faculty on March 5th and 6th to offer contracts for the 25-26 school year. Recommendations for renewal, including those achieving tenured status, are presented for approval this evening. Next, the Joint Mentorship Program Development Committee, comprised of support staff members and administrators, met on March 3rd to review feedback and plan improvements for the 25-26 program. Feedback highlights a greater sense of belonging and valuable mentor-protege relationships that have developed this year. Minor updates are planned to enhance the experience for new hires in the upcoming school year. The EBC's final renewal meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, March 19th, initiating preparations for open enrollment in May with an effective date of July 1st. We have received confirmation from WCHSTA representatives that no plan changes are supported for 25-26, and as such, we are preparing for premium increases as outlined in each CBA. Finally, as a reminder, the deadline for board members to file their statement of economic interest under the Illinois Governmental Ethics Act is May 1st, and this concludes my report.
All right, that brings us to principal's report, and tonight playing the role of Will Dwyer would be Kurt Johansson.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Dwyer's report is in your packet. I'm just going to highlight a couple things in here. We've had 2 days, March 8th and March 10th, where we had Immigration Services come in to help support our community and offered a chance for members of our community to be connected with various legal resources to navigate the complex issues. I'd also like to hop down to our Booster Club, give a little promo. On this Thursday night, there is a pasta dinner in the Commons. If you recall, I did send you an email. If you'd like to have dinner with me, my treat, I'll buy. So it doesn't happen often, so take advantage of that. Another thing I'd like to point out, on March 12th, our student council leadership student, they hosted their first ever Flick and Float. It was a fundraiser where students could purchase tickets to watch a movie in the Dan Johnson Natatorium while floating in the pool. I heard it was a great success. What a unique idea. I thought that was quite clever. On the teaching and learning front, I would like to thank our government teachers and students. student representatives along with our board members who attended the board candidate forum on Tuesday, March 11th. The entire event was a great example of civic engagement in our community. I'm appreciative of the adults who attended and participated and the students who really showed off their chops by asking tough questions and facilitating the entire event. And one final thing of note here, on February 27th, our counseling department hosted an annual college and career fair. The event was attended by hundreds of parents and students. Of those who attended, 140 of them attended an additional breakout session entitled Post-Secondary Planning and Options. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to our student board representatives for their report.
Good evening. Spring sports are just starting their seasons, with boys volleyball and girls soccer having tryouts last week, and baseball and softball tryouts before that. Girls badminton also had their tryouts last week and hosted a pay-a-player event to raise money for their program. For $5, friends, family, and teachers could play against a member of their badminton team and would receive $2 back for winning. The team also hosted a Chipotle fundraiser night on the 12th, which was a huge success. Track and field had a great indoor season so far, with multiple students placing and setting new PRs. Sofia Garcia, a member of the varsity track and field team, recently committed to run cross country and track at Trevecca Nazarene University in Nashville, Tennessee. The student body is incredibly excited to support our fellow students in their athletic events this spring.
Additionally, this past month, we've had some exciting news for math team as they have participated in regionals, and we placed top 15% of all the students of all the schools attending, and our entire junior team has made it to state, and we will be advancing to compete at Illinois State University. The season has ended for other grade levels, and so far this year has been a great success for all of us as we have made it farther than the goals that we've set at the beginning of this year. And this was probably a record made for the Algebra 2 team because it's been a while since the junior year team has advanced to state.
Last week, 2 exciting field trips took place, with the Music Honor Society going downtown to see the Chicago Symphony Orchestra perform. Their concert included choir performing Haydn and Beethoven's Mass and Times of War piece. The group also dined at a French market, explored the city, and visited the Bean. Thursday the 13th also marked the last Roar of the year. It was a bittersweet day, as it was the last Roar for many mentors and all the directors, including myself. I have enjoyed being a part of Roar these past 3 years because it truly brings the WeGo community closer together. Many students are grateful for the program because it shows them that they're not alone and introduces them to lots of new faces. A highlight from Thursday was when a student shared during open mic how grateful they were for Roar because it made them feel welcome and accepted as a new student.
With AP exams coming up after spring break, teachers have been doing a great job at keeping up with the curriculums and as we're all wrapping up with the units before break ends. Personally, being a senior taking all of these AP classes, I believe that the amount of resources has improved and increased gradually. My AP chemistry teacher and my macroeconomics teacher have been willing to help by hosting study sessions on Saturdays or just after school, which has been extremely helpful for me. And I highly recommend that other AP teachers try doing this as well, because at least an hour a day every other week can help students get ahead in their classes and also be ready for their exams. Additionally, a lot of AP teachers this year are hosting practice AP exams, helping us be even more successful for the days of the actual exam.
At the beginning of the month, Alexis Lesowich hosted her March Madness Personal Leadership Project, which went amazingly well. It was a March Madness bracket-style basketball tournament for middle schoolers that raised money for the families of first responders injured on the force through the DuPage County 100 Club. The event was well attended by participants and firefighters, police officers, and a detective who played on teams and reffed games. Alexis raised over $1,000 and had over 30 kids play in the tournament. On March 28th, my sister, Allison Dusing, will host her Princess Party PLP. Allie, Mia Zapata, and I will go to the morning and afternoon early childhood, at-risk, and special education preschool classes at Evergreen Elementary dressed as Belle, Moana, and Elsa. We have a couple of activities like picture bingo and themed coloring pages to do with the kids. We are super excited to connect with the preschoolers and the feeder district.
Last but not least, prom. This year, prom will be held at Navy Pier, and the Student Council has done a great job at coming up with this year's theme, which is Sunset on the Beach, and coming up with the beautiful location as well. Due to the parking lot raffles and many fundraisers, such as the Flick and Foe as well, prom tickets are now coming down to $160 before spring break and $170 after. which is significantly lower than last year's prices. I hope this prom turns out to be the best one yet, as I'm extremely excited about the new location as well as the new theme. Of course, more is coming up with senior activities as well, with new Den Games activities and senior events. Thank you.
Thank you, Kashika and Lauren. And that brings us to Superintendent's report. Kurt.
So tonight I'll be recommending that the board approve our new strategic plan. However, before this takes place, I'd like to share a video with everyone that was created by Mr. Jennings, capturing the strategic planning process and testimonials from those who participated.
My name is Brandon Fantozzi. I'm a graduate of West Chicago High School and now an employee. I've been here for 23 years as the choir director. Today's been really enlightening. It's been a fun process of looking at data from different perspectives, from different administrative groups, and just putting those pieces of data together to see where we are as a district, areas that we're doing really well, areas that we can improve upon, and ways that we can look forward to the future and the success that we can bring to West Chicago.
I'm Janaya Villa. I'm a junior here at the school. This is the second strategic planning meeting that I've attended. We got to look at some data revolving around what's working in our school regarding like tests and like planning ahead for the future and engagement with families and students. And it gave me a better understanding of coming to school and learning.
I'm Molly. I'm the director of We Go Together for Kids, a community collaboration here in West Chicago, and it's definitely been a brain-filling day. Lots of data, lots of different perspectives and perceptions, as well as just those cold hard facts. So it's been a really good mix of all the different things that I think we're going to need to make some really important decisions for D94. And I think one of the things that I'm leaving with is that it feels like there are some really clear things that we're definitely doing well that we can highlight, and those things that maybe we're not doing as well that we can work on. So I'm feeling good that there's been clarity.
I'm a senior here, and one of the things we're talking about today is the portrait of a graduate, where we're going over the basic skills that a graduate should have by the time they leave West Chicago High School.
Hi, I'm Joe Zeman. I'm a social studies teacher here at West Chicago High School. I'm really excited to be part of the opportunity. I think it gives us a fresh start to have some important conversations about who we are as a community and educators and what we want for our students.
Hi, I'm Gina Radin with the West Chicago Park District. I'm the executive director there. I've come here today to help the high school envision what a graduate looks like coming from District 94.
I'm Megan Dusing. I'm a parent in the community. I have a junior and a senior here at WeGo. I also have the unique perspective of also being an educator in Benjamin District 25. I see the kids that come from Benjamin into WeGo. Being a part of the Strategic Plan Committee has been an amazing experience for me. I've had the opportunity to come to 3 full-day sessions where we were presented with all the data. I learned a lot about the school. The team of people who put that data together were very prepared and shared a lot of great things that I didn't know. And I think we are on the right path, and it's fun to be a part of it, and it's exciting, and I think that we'll continue to see a lot of growth and development and really great things to come out of WeGo long after my kids have graduated from here and moved on, and I'll still be a member of this community, so I want to see WeGo be as successful as it can possibly be.
My name is Benjamin Westlow. I'm the library director for the West Chicago Public Library District. I've been participating in the strategic planning retreats at District 94. It's been a great pleasure to participate and set some direction.
That's pretty good, wasn't it? It was really good. Mr. Jennings, he's incredible. He was in every session, getting pictures and doing his thing, and he's like, I'll have it to you by Monday, I'll have it to you by Monday. You can send me any edits you need. I looked at it on Monday, I'm like, oh my gosh, This is like perfect. It totally captured what those 3 long sessions were all about in about a 4-minute video. So really excited about that. So I'll move on, moving down my report. The IASB division meeting on March 5th, many of our board members attended the IASB DuPage division meeting at Addison Trail High School. This meeting featured Dr. Ken Wallace, a retired superintendent for Maine Township District 207. Dr. Wallace delivered a powerful message on driving design thinking to prepare students for a changed economy. In addition to Dr. Wallace's presentation, many of our board members were recognized for their service. These recognitions included Mr. Bob Brown, Legacy and Distinguished, Annual Merit; Kathy Doremus, Newly Distinguished; Gary Sake, Newly Distinguished; and Rich Nagel, Legacy Annual Merit. So I wanted to congratulate our Board of Education on their years of service and their dedication. One final thing to note, we have received 6 FOIA requests since the last regular Board of Education meeting. Julie has responded within the required time frame, and these requests have been included in your packet. This concludes my report.
All right, committee and representative reports. Again, Kurt.
Okay, last month there was not a whole lot to talk about. This month there's quite a bit. So, DEOS is our DuPage Area Occupational Educational System. The DEOS Board of Directors met on February 20th with the search firm HYA, which is Hazard, Young, and Attia, to discuss the interview process for the next executive director. I then participated in the first round of interviews on March 11th. Through this process, we identified 3 very strong candidates that were interviewed during a final round on March 17th. The Board of Directors will present an offer to the final candidate in the coming days, and I'll provide the board with an update during our next meeting. The next Board of Directors meeting is scheduled for March 20th. LEND is our Legislative Education Network of DuPage. The LEND team met virtually on Friday, February 28th. Dan, Gary, and Kathy were also in attendance. There was a lot of information presented, so I'd like to highlight a few topics of special interest, then open the door to Dan, Gary, and Kathy to see if they'd like to add anything to the discussion. The first item was Senate Bill 28, which is employee evaluations would continue to allow but not require student growth as a component of the evaluation. This is something that we have discussed previously as this was being discussed early on in the process, and it looks like it's probably going to move forward. The next item, which Dan alluded to earlier, was evidence-based funding. Will be fully funded at the requested $350 million, but CPPRT and categoricals are being reduced. So kind of the topic of conversation was, it's almost like they're playing a shell game with the money. We'll keep EBF fully funded, but we're going to pull back on these other things and hope nobody notices. So everybody's noticing, we're aware, and we're going to continue to advocate to ensure that those categoricals in the CPPRT are being funded adequately. Gary, Kathy, Dan, I know that was a long meeting with a lot of information. I don't know if you had anything else to add to that.
Very well.
Yeah. We have another one coming up this Friday, another virtual meeting.
I will say that I have been attending the last 2 LEN meetings, but also legal meetings specifically in relation to funding for designed for parents and families and schools and caretakers, and I am very, very scared. And I took a lot of notes during the LEN meeting, ran out of the house, but of things that I was looking at, and I've also thinking regarding the same thing, and that this is going to get much worse before it gets better. We need voice of positive optimism.
Are you good?
I will add, I agree. I think the state's projection on funding is a little optimistic, and we should be more on the conservative side and really control our expenditures as best as possible. It's maybe a bumpy road here.
Good. Okay. All right, moving along, SACID, that's our School Association for Special Education in DuPage. I attended the SACID Board of Directors meeting on February 19th, and then the Finance Committee meeting on March 5th. During our meeting, we discussed the Facility Planning Committee's recommendations for future needs of SACID. PMA also presented funding options should SACID decide to build, renovate, or consolidate once their current leases expired on October of '26. I do have a concern with borrowing money to assist with any type of renovations for future build-outs, and I've requested that the facility committee through SACID narrow their scope so we can begin to examine cost-effective options. The next SACID meeting is scheduled for March 19th. One final update. I attended the DuPage IASA meeting on March 12th. In addition to the legislative updates, we were also provided with a presentation from the DuPage ROE on the topic of truancy and chronic absenteeism. The focus of this presentation was to inform all members of the additional resources our Regional Office of Education has implemented to help support school districts to address this nationwide issue. The spokesperson for DuPage ROE identified an MTSS process that they will be utilizing when students are referred for truancy. This process will align very nicely with our new MTSS structure that we will be rolling out next year. This concludes my report.
Thank you for that. That brings us to future dates. Our next board meeting is April 15th. It'll be a regular Board of Education meeting, and then after that, May 6th, our special and organizational board meeting. That brings us to board members' open comments. Does anyone have any?
Dr. Johansson noted a couple of the board members were at the IASB division meeting, and the presentation was very enlightening. It's something that we've been talking about for a while. It appears that it's growing statewide, maybe nationwide. So I'm hoping that the administration has some plans at bringing that information to our students, to our community, to our parents, so that they're aware of options beyond what a lot of people were sort of assuming was the goal of the high school educational process.
So if you look at how our organizational chart is structured going into next year, those two positions, the Director of Post-Secondary Success will be that point person for a lot of those programs that Dr. Wallace was talking about, that liaison to help us get out in front of some of these things. And then having Mary have more of an explicit focus on the pathways will help us as well. So we're in that mix, and we're looking to expand upon that with each passing year. So,
and that'll filter down to our counselors and, okay. How do we measure that?
How do we measure the CTE and pathway discussion?
Well, that we're making progress at educating our students and our parents about understanding that there are other options available.
I think first we have to gauge the interest of those programs, right? What Dr. Wallace did talk about and other people in the field have hit pretty heavily is that if you go all in on the pathways and you offer too much, you end up offering nothing because our kids start to scatter, and we can't implement programs with fidelity. So the biggest thing is to gauge the interest, do a needs assessment, and gauge the interest of our students and what they really want and what they're looking forward to. The next part of that process is to attempt to incorporate our school links a little bit better, and to have our students log into school links, and then hopefully what Dr. Wallace was saying, he also works closely with the ROE, getting that school links to be regional, so when students are interested in engineering or construction or being a clerk, they can go onto their school links and they have instant access to any internship that's available within the 34,000 businesses that are in DuPage County. So that's a heavy lift, but the first step in that process is to get them acclimated to the school links and start to advertise and promote what we offer here to ensure we're offering the right courses to meet our students' needs.
We have somebody that's promoting internship. I was at a presentation 2 IASBs ago. Lake Zurich has this very prolific internship program. They have a specific person that's involved in that. I think I brought that to a board meeting. Are we looking at moving not only just to provide information and give students opportunities to look up on the computer the links, but actually have somebody proactively working on that?
That's going to be our Director of post-secondary success.
Okay.
That'll be there. That'll be on the job description. 1 point person.
Board member open comments. All right, any future issues? All right, hearing none, that brings us to consent agenda. Does anybody wish any consent agenda items removed for separate action? Hearing none, the recommended motion is the Board of Education approve the consent agenda for the minutes, financials, and reports, ombudsman, grant acceptance, DWC resolution, 2025 to 2026 IHSA membership renewal, and personnel reports as presented.
I'll move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Mr. Remus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye. Motion carries. There being no old business, we move to new business. First item, athletic trainer bid approval. The recommended motion that the Board of Education award the bid to ATI Physical Therapy, Chicago, Illinois, for a 3-year contract in the total amount of $438,000.
So moved. Second.
There you go.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Remus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, student fees for 2025 to 2026. The recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the 2025 to 2026 school year student fee schedule as presented.
So moved.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Munoz?
Can I ask a question?
Go.
I just want to confirm, we had discussed previously the accessibility of the waiver for student fees. Is that something that is on our district website, and is it accessible for families that register online?
Yes, and yes.
Okay. And well, as asking for it if they don't have the technological savviness of knowing how to navigate
Yes.
finding it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, we are doing a roll call vote.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Mr. Remus?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. That brings us to annual student Chromebook purchase 2025 to 2026. The recommended motion, the Board of Education approve the purchase of 540 Chromebooks from CDWG, Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $221,400.
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Mr. Remus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Carries. Train Preventative Maintenance Program approval. The recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the preventative maintenance program from Train Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $24,891.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Mr. Remus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Motion carries. Allied contract approval. The recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the construction management and guaranteed energy savings contracts as presented with Allied Facilities Partners, LLC, Algonquin, Illinois, to oversee the construction projects this summer.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I noticed there's no amount, total amount here. I believe on any expenditure of funds, we have to have the total.
Total, I believe in the bid tabulation, there's a total.
That's not on the agenda. On the
Then
motion.
what is the-
It's part of
what-
the motion.
Then what is, give us the total and we'll amend it to the motion.
At my computer.
Is this the bid tab summary and financial overview?
Total is, I need my glasses. Total is 2,948,000.
48, you said?
2,000,000.
Yes.
948,914.
And that's a total for both contracts?
That's the total for all projects combined for both contracts, correct?
Okay, so amending that motion to include a total of $2,948,914. Do we have a motion and a second to the amended motion? All right, any discussion at this point? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sig?
Nay.
All right, motion carries. Next item, fiscal year 26 licensed staff request. The recommended motion is the board approve the licensed staffing recommendations as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sig?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Motion carries. Textbook approval. The recommended motion, the Board of Education approve the adoption and purchase of the 2025-26 textbooks as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sig?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye. Motion carries. Business Professionals of American National Leadership Conference Field Trip. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the requested trip for Business Professionals of America to travel to Orlando, Florida to compete in the national competition from May 7th to the 11th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sig?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Motion carries. Transitional English Memorandum of Understanding with College of DuPage. The recommended motion of the Board of Education approve the MOU with College of DuPage for the purpose of providing district students an additional opportunity to be college-ready upon graduation from West Chicago Community High School.
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sig?
Aye.
Mr. Zuniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Ms. Doremus?
Aye.
And finally, strategic plan approval. The recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the final strategic plan as presented. And this gives me great pleasure to be bringing this before the board.
It gives me great pleasure to second it.
Any discussion?
As many times as I've looked at this over the last couple of weeks, I apologize that I just noticed a couple things that concern me, not greatly, but there's no time frame. We've always been talking about a 5-year strategic plan, but there's nothing in the plan that says 5 years. Doesn't have a starting date or an ending date, which I was surprised about. That's something that probably, maybe there's a reason for that, I don't know. There's no milestones in the plan or review points, so I would assume as a plan, we would start it, and then we would look at some productivity and solutions and stop points that we would go back and do an assessment on and make some modifications over that 5 years.
Let me address your first two questions.
Okay.
So we've been talking about the phases that we go through with strategic planning. The first phase is to adopt and accept the strategic plan. The second phase in this is to develop an action plan. So the action plan is built off of the strategic plan. So once the board approves the strategic plan, we already have meetings set up with gold champions in each of those 5 areas that will then bring in staff and other members to develop those action plans, those benchmarks that will be 1 year at a time, 2 years, 5 years down the road. So that action planning comes in phase 2 of this, which our first meeting will take place in the second week of April. Our first action plan gold champion meeting will take place that second week of April. But we can't do that until this is approved.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So this is the strategic plan phase 1.
This is the strategic plan, period. The next part of the strategic planning process is to develop those action steps and those metrics to measure the plan over the course of the next 5 years.
So this is saying, this is where we're going. Next step is, how do we get there and how do we measure the progress?
Correct. And that does not require board approval. This, a strategic plan, does require the board approval for us to move forward with the action planning process. So the action planning process will take 3 more meetings this year. Once the Gold Champion meeting takes place, they each develop a team of about 6 to 8 people to develop and establish metrics and strategies to move towards those 5 identified areas. Once those are established, then we start a fall, winter, spring check-in to measure the progress of those goals. Some of the goals will be 1 year, some of the goals will be 2 years, some of them will be very long-range goals in 5 years. But that's all part of the action planning process that stems from the strategic plan.
I guess, if we're approving a strategic plan as stated, that to me doesn't necessarily leave any room for changing if we're calling this the strategic final plan. So maybe it's terminology, but if after year 1 we've made some adjustments or we've changed a goal or something, then we have to go back and reapprove the plan.
We don't have to reapprove the plan. What might change and what will change in a strategic plan is that continuous improvement, right? So the metrics might change, the strategies to get to the goals might change based on the feedback and the data that we're gathering. Something's working really well, we're going to continue to enforce it and achieve that goal. Once that goal is accomplished, we don't stop, because there'll be goals that we accomplish after year 1. That doesn't mean we just check off goal 1 and say, we're good for the next 4 years. That means we reestablish new metrics and new goals and new strategies to continue to stretch. So the fluid process is part of the action planning. The strategic plan itself will stay in place for 5 years until we review it again.
I guess what I sort of see missing is that comment about, that 5 year. There's nothing in here that says this is by the end of year 5, this will be the result.
There will be benchmarks along the way. So you're approving the plan. The whole title of the plan was We Go 2030, right? So it's a 5-year plan that was very clear on the front end of this, and this is what we've talked about. This is a 5-year plan. The action steps and the metrics, those will be achieved, hopefully, at various points along that 5-year continuum. So some of the professional development that falls under goal number 1 was student achievement, that might be completed at the spring of 26.
Totally agree.
Right?
Yeah. No, I just, for the entirety of the entire plan, just to be clear, that 5 years is the cutoff point.
Is the cutoff point. But that doesn't mean, to Rich's point, when we start looking at strategies and metrics, we might achieve a goal year 1 and have to stretch that metric out. If our goal is 95% of our freshmen will be on track, and let's say we achieve that at the end, if we achieve that at the end of year 1, that's going to be miraculous. But let's say we do that. Then year 2, our goal shouldn't be 95%, it should be 96%, right? So we should continue to adjust those end metrics as we continue to grow and achieve those goals. That's where the fluidity comes in the action planning.
So as we approach the 2030, it would be time to have those discussions about, okay, we're going to regroup and have another strategic planning cycle to say, where do we go from here?
Correct. But we'll be presenting to the board every year on our progress at the midpoint and at the end point, so you can see where we're progressing along the continuum of those goals.
Yes. And Gary, I'm wondering, do you feel like this should be titled We Go District 94 5-Year Strategic Plan?
I think there's a disconnect between the printed material and what the motion is, I guess is what my concern was, is that, I agree, there's going to be several items that are done in year 1, several more in year 2. I'm just saying, I don't want it to be year 6 and year 7, and because we haven't gotten to those things yet. That's all I'm trying to get to.
Should we amend the motion to include a comment about through the year 2030? Do you think
That
that
would
covers
be
it?
wonderful.
Okay, let's amend the motion. The motion is the board approve the final strategic plan as presented with the amendment that the plan is expected to go until the year 2030.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? And thank you for that suggestion, Gary. Oh, please.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
With much happiness, aye.
Mr. Brown?
With great pleasure, yes. Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Very happy, aye.
Mr. Ramus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
With gratitude, aye.
Motion carries. We have a strategic plan. All right, that concludes our business for open session. We will be going into closed session. There will not be any action taken after closed session. The recommended motion that the Board of Education hold a closed session at 8:09 p.m. for the purposes of exception number 1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specifically administrative and confidential employees. Exception number 2, collective negotiating matters, specifically collective bargaining update. And exception number 12, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, specifically pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Sake?
Aye.
Mr. Suniga?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Casey Mayer?
Aye.
Mr. Ramus?
Aye.
Ms. Munoz?
Aye.
Mr. Nagel?
Aye.
All right, we're going into closed session. Why don't we take 5?
Before we adjourn, I would just like to ask that the discussion we had on the timing of the strategic plan be reflected in the minutes.
The time, like the
The
motion?
discussion, well, the discussion we had on the timing and the evaluations and things be
About the way the process would be
the process
put
be a little more thorough in the minutes than normally we would address that.
Question, I'm sorry.
Well, if in the minutes you said we had a discussion about the timing, that's not as thorough as the fact that we had talked about the 5-year length and things like that. So I don't, are we recording this, or we can go back and get those details? Just so in 3 years we go back and review and say, okay, here's what we talked about relative to setting up the strategic plan. All along, we've been talking about a 5-year strategic plan. In approving this, we haven't really nailed that down, other than the discussion we had and understanding that we think we know what we're doing.
Well, certainly the minutes will reflect the amended motion that included the dates then.
Right, but I
Right, and the
think
plan-
how we got there as well.
And the plan itself will reflect that as well.
Okay, where?
Title, like We Go 2030, it's a 5-year plan. And then the action steps and the updates that I'll give you over the course of the next 5 years, we'll have those metrics attached to them, along with all of the strategies we'll be implementing and the goals that are identified within each goal, within each strategy.
Understood, but that's all after we've approved it.
Correct, you're approving the plan. You're not approving the action steps.
Right, but we approved the process by which we got to the plan.
Okay, why don't, I think they get the idea about making sure that the minutes are thorough on that issue. When the board packet comes out, I guess if you were thinking that it's like.
Sure, but not them, us. Board.
Right, well, why don't we take 5 and reconvene for executive session. I didn't want to go too far down the discussion path, since we're technically
Well, we had
the meetings.
Yeah, I was saying before we adjourn.
Ready.
free to get some refreshments.